Good morning, Geometry. So let's go ahead and dig in here. So I just want to jump in with a few things that you guys maybe are wondering about summer school in case you didn't catch it in the email. Work is due on Fridays. That doesn't mean you can turn it in anytime. Sorry, that does mean you can turn it in anytime, but work is due by Fridays. That because everything is online, it gives you the ability now to complete it on your own time, so you don't need to log on at any specific time. If you do need help, um, if you need any extra help or you want to do a meetup or something, we can schedule that. Um, so that sort of leads me into my second point here is communicate, especially with distance learning, and combine that with summer school where things are a little bit more fast paced. We only have a couple of weeks. Communicate early and clearly. So what I mean by that is when you start struggling with something or if you're having a hard time, communicate with me. Send me an email. Um, and clearly, meaning if you send me an email saying I I'm having a hard time or I'm stuck, um, I've received emails where it just says I'm stuck. That's not telling me where you're stuck. So if you tell me instead, hey, I'm having a hard time on the Unit 2 test, specifically, um, we're not doing Unit 2, but specifically, I don't know, adding sides of a square. I'm just making this up off the top of my head. Now I know specifically what your problem is. And then when I respond to your email or when we get together on a Google Meetup, I can specifically help you with that. Otherwise, we're going to spend time going back and forth for me to actually figure out what is your issue. So please communicate with me early as you can and clearly. That way I can help you the best I can. Thirdly, we're on Canvas. So I did take down the course and re-put up the course. So I think that maybe fixed the issues that a lot of you guys were having with the course not being posted. If it still has issues, please let me know. But hopefully Canvas is up. That's where we'll be. There's a second video. Please watch that for the walkthrough of this first Unit 0 is what I'm calling it of Canvas. Lastly, as far as summer school is concerned, your grades, you will get an A, B, C, D, or we are not assigning Fs, we are assigning NMs. So I believe, I'm not totally sure, but I believe the NM won't negatively affect your GPA in the same way that an F would, but it still would mean that you don't receive any credits for that class, in this case, geometry. So talking about grades, let's jump into it since that's what most people are concerned about. This is the grade breakdown. So your tests are 50% of your grade. There is one test for every unit. That test usually is up to not beyond 20 questions and it is an hour. You have 1 hour to take that test. So that's a good amount of time. If you don't know anything and you just run into the test right away, it might not be enough time. I have had people who haven't, who don't know anything, come into it like not know anything in the sense that they didn't study, they didn't ask any questions, they didn't ask for help, then they try to take an hour test. And even though it's 20 questions, it takes a little while. The thing about tests, though, is you are allowed multiple retests. So if your first score on that test is a 20%, you can retake that test again. And if you get 40%, I'll take that. You can retake those again all the way until the end of summer school. I'm not sure quite what data is off the top of my head. Second are quizzes. So quizzes are just short little up to five, no more than 5 question that will be on each specific section. So you'll have like a homework assignment, then you'll have a quiz on that section, and after you do a couple of those sections, you'll have a test on all of those, and that'll be a unit. Quizzes are 10%. So again, they're not as heavy as the tests. Those have no retakes. Again, only a few questions on them, but the questions on the quizzes are the same questions that I'll get pulled from that might be on your test. And surprisingly, they're going to be the same questions and the types of questions that I'll be pulling from your homework as well. So there hopefully won't be any of this business where you do a homework assignment, and it's like, oh, I got this. Then you take a quiz and you're like, okay, I sort of got this. And you take a test and you're like, well, what the heck happened? If that does occur, if a question slip in, then please, again, like I said earlier, communicate early and clearly. Tell me, hey, can you go check out my test? There's some questions on there that don't seem to align with any of the stuff that we were doing with. Then, if it is, I'll give you the points for it and we can move on. Homework, there'll be simple homework assignments. I may change these around some, but for the most part, because we're not able to be in person and doing different types of stuff, there'll be some sort of worksheet assignment. I'm going to try to supplement these things with other maybe interesting stuff for you guys who want that. But for those of you who just want to plow through this summer school thing, get it over with, I'll just be posting those links to those homeworks that you can do. And lastly, participation. Participation here is a 10%. That is if you contact me for help, sweet, you're getting your participation grade. If you're turning in your assignments each week on time, so you totally can turn in everything on the last day. If you turn in every single thing on the last day, then I'll still put it all in, but you would not get that participation. So your grade would drop some in it, but as long as you did your work here, you'd be fine. Lastly, on the grading, academic dishonesty, just real quick, if you cheat or if I find out in some way that you're copying somebody's homework, you'll receive a permanent 0 for that. If I look at your test and it seems like you did a 20 question test in 2 minutes, and it seems like it happened, like there's ways that we can check these things. Again, because you can ask me any questions you need, you can retake the test multiple times. Don't bother with this. If you take the test a time or two and you're like, I don't get this, let me know and I'll help you work through it. But if you do any academic dishonesty, that is a permanent 0, which cannot be changed. So for whatever that assignment was. Then into specifically on the assignments, for tests, your grades are whatever percentage you got on that test. So I don't know why I put these low grades here, but you might get like a 23%, or you might get some 64.3 because there's like a multiple choice question and you got 2 out of 5 right, so you get partial points. So if you get any partial points, I'll assign those and you'll get this. And so this is how your test grade will go in. For all the rest of your assignments, so quizzes, homework, participation, I graded on the level of work. So an A level of work is you are solving all or mostly all of the problems with very little mistakes. So if you do everything right, but you miss an addition sign somewhere and you added 2 numbers wrong or something, we all do that, and that is still an A level of work, so you get 100% on those assignments. So you can miss problems on your homework, or maybe miss like a little something on a quiz and still get 100%. I found that this system helps you guys out a lot more with boosting those up because you have a bigger range to get these in. Same with a B level is, you understand it, you're doing it really well, but we made some basic mistakes. C, we're there, we're understanding it, but we're maybe missing, or not completing the entire thing. D, we did a few questions. F is if you turned in anything. So if you turned in, you solved one problem, you would receive a 55%. If you turn in nothing, you will receive a 0%. So that is the only way that you can get a 0, other than the academic dishonesty. But so even if you turn something in, that'll give you that 55%. Yes, at the end of the day, that is still an F, but that is 55% higher than a 0, which means it's a lot less distance for you to have to close in case if you do bad on an assignment or a quiz or two. You can still pull that up. So as far as the workload, I know these units don't really mean much to you right now, and I'll later this week they'll get posted. But if you are here for semester 1, then you'll be doing units 1, 3, and 4. If you're here for semester 2, you're doing units 5, 6, and 8. And obviously that means for those of you who are in both sessions, so you're here for a full year of geometry, then you'll be doing the pace, the weekly goal. Again, this is all in your own time. You could knock all of this out in a week. You could, go heavy one week and then light and then heavy again. We only have this, we only have 4 weeks, and this week's sort of the easy one. So, 2 units a week, not including this week. I'll be uploading those units so you can get started early if you'd like. I won't have the walkthroughs just ready yet, but you could get started early if you'd like. So if you're doing both sessions, then starting next week, if you were to start next week, your goal would be to do 2 units a week. If you're only in one session, then it'd be 1 unit a week. And each unit would have a few homework assignments, a quiz for each one of those sections that the homework's in, and then a test for all of those sections. So again, the homework, if you can solve all the homework problems, and then I have the notes which have all the same problems, similar problems to the note. The notes have similar problems to the homework, and they're all solved out. So if you're able to solve the homework, then you should be able to pass the quiz because I pull from those same questions to make the quizzes. And then if you can solve all those, then you should be good for the test because I'm pulling from the homework, I'm pulling from the quizzes, all those same types of questions there, I'm pulling those for the test. Okay. So lastly, stay healthy, stay safe. And again, if you need anything or if something comes up, please contact me early, and please, as soon as you can, that way we can work through this. Thank you so much. I look forward to doing summer school with you guys.